Campaigning around progressive priorities is a complex task, especially in the digital age. One group is making sure that Democrats are trained to be tech pros and ready to tackle the evolution of online platforms. A big investment will help Priorities USA ensure that the underrepresented can build digital infrastructure geared toward progressives this election cycle. The $3.5 million stipend will concentrate on communities who've often been marginalized in Democratic politics. This initiative comes as more candidates alter their approach to reach voters during a time when the internet is capturing more eyeballs than traditional campaigning methods. The National Conference of State Legislatures is reporting that, quote, political candidates and other users have spent over 3 times more money on digital political ads in the 2019-2020 election cycle than in the 2016 cycle. In addition to fighting for voting rights, Priorities USA is working to guarantee a progressive space with a pipeline to digital careers. This is happening as tech giants like Apple change how advertisers use data to reach voters following scrutiny over campaign ads and misinformation. Aneesa McMillan is the Deputy Director of Priorities USA, and Aneesa is here tonight with us on Amplified to talk more about all of this. Aneesa, welcome. Now, this program that you have is focused on making sure that marginalized communities are represented in Democratic politics. So back up for a minute and talk to us about what representation looks like in these areas now and why this $3.5 million initiative is actually needed.
Well, so often in campaigns in general, you often see campaign staffers that don't reflect or look like the voters that we should be talking to. We not only center this work in our own ads by trying to just build culturally competent messaging, but we want to make sure that we're pushing other organizations that are doing this work to do the same. So it's also a partnership. The investment means that we're able to train more people for free. We're able to invite other organizations to participate. And then the point that you made in your opening, we're able to offer this to operatives that may have never had this opportunity. And when you lead, you're able to go and set up digital programming on your own within campaigns throughout the party.
Can you speak to us about, the last election, 2020 for sure, and certainly 2016? We have seen such an aggressive digital campaign apparatus that in the wake of COVID certainly helped to offset the lack of ability to have a ground game of traditional, door knocking and voter engagement. It seems to me that digital campaigning is really the future of elections. So could you give us some context about where we are with campaigning in general and the potential impact on future elections?
Well, our research tells us that about 30%, or voters are spending about 30% more of their time online than they are on TV. We did a memo as well where we estimated that around 75% of the TV ads that were intended for voters, that they're intended for, they don't get to see them because people are increasingly online. Folks are also disengaged. You mentioned COVID and the other issues that we're just facing as human beings, but we find in our research that a lot of Americans have tuned out. And so that's why digital advertising has become even more important because we have to go where people are and have a compelling message that kind of breaks through all of the noise that they're trying to navigate in their everyday lives. And so we've had this focus since 2018, really trying to make sure that we did not invest and that we invested smartly. I think that that's the most important key takeaway. We had this focus in 2020, and we were not only able to make a difference in terms of advertising, but we were able to help on the voter suppression front by just going directly to voters and asking them, hey, do you know how to register, or even how to get an absentee ballot if you need one?
How do you actually foster that kind of conversation or interaction and engagement with voters where you're able to get some back and forth on what they want to see, what they might be receptive to, etc.?
Well, we are an organization that does not believe in waiting 6 weeks prior to the election. We are in contact. We just had focus groups. We are in contact with folks all the time. And a lot of times we're able to be able to tell our counterparts in this space that we are seeing a lot of the trends that pop up in conversation. For instance, last cycle there were talk about movement towards Trump among voters of color. We were already kind of operating and trying to offset that because we also invest in addition to the advertising in research, checking in with voters, making sure that we are talking to them so that we're not just trying to go viral online. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. We also aren't just turning TV ads into like shorter spots and then putting them online. We're actually talking to voters so that they can tell us what they want to see, both from everything to the administration all the way to the midterms.
A lot of the work that you're investing in right now is to get more diverse professionals to be a part of the digital side of campaigning. And I want to really put a fine point on that because it's important who's in the chair running these digital departments and managing these budgets around this ad spending, because this is an integral part of the campaign resourcing here. And what gets spent? You mentioned television ads. I think for those of us who follow politics, we know that it's a billion-dollar industry at this point, television ads around campaigning. I mean, it's really a multi-billion-dollar industry. People are spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on digital ads as well. And the people who are making those decisions about how those spends happen, the people who are doing the strategy around the actual campaign tactics aren't necessarily people who look like you and I all the time. So talk to us about the barriers that digital professionals are facing generally with people of color getting into this field. And then what is cumbersome about digital campaigning that makes it a little bit different than what we know traditionally in terms of our outreach efforts?
Well, it is something that is new. So anytime, obviously, when you have new strategies, anything that comes up, we know from doing this work in political spaces, it's just like with trying to get Black comm staffers in general. The barriers are financial, the same issues that you face when you're trying to find a job on Capitol Hill when you're young. Can you fund that move to DC? Can you fund that campaign experience? I know my first campaign experience, I had to like pack everything I owned into a car, and move to another state on a very short notice. And so, digital advertising, to your point, is still relatively new. We are trying to build on what we know, but our entire leadership team, including our chairman, is committed to making sure that we don't make that mistake of holding this information close. We want everybody to know the lessons that we have learned. And hopefully we'll be able to start this pipeline earlier in a way. So to your point, where we don't see the same issues that we have in TV advertising, where you do have a lot of folks that don't look like you and I kind of guiding the message and the ads, because it is very, very important that we think about all this moving into 2022 because so much is at stake.
So the pipeline strategy is certainly key because it's the strategy of how we campaign in the future. You've also got to contend with tech giants like Facebook and Google who are making changes deliberately to how political advertising works. So tell us about how Priorities USA is adjusting to the platform's changes.
We don't get much notice like most folks. We find out most of the time in the news. What we've done is, number one, try to diversify. So, you can see our ads everywhere: Facebook, TikTok, everywhere in those digital platforms that matter. But we're also tracking those changes. So, for instance, the loss of cookies, and so doing work in house to develop how we track who we're talking to. And that is a group effort. We have analytics at the table, research at the table, so that we make sure that we not only are able to adapt and respond, but that we have in-house information to know and say, well, if these changes happen, or even if we can anticipate the changes. Like I said, 2020 was we were very vocal about how difficult that was with the rules change. We had a person by the name of Donald Trump who was violating every standard on social media. And so it became quite difficult. But we, honed in on it. Like you said earlier, the investments are key. We're not, pretending like it's not happening. And we're able to use that knowledge to help train other folks.
You're investing in people and the training. How are you coming up with tactics to cut through the misinformation and the disinformation and actually have, some campaign strategy and messages that resonate?
So actually, part of, or in addition to, I should say, the 30 million, we've invested an additional 20 million for voting rights. 10 million of that is going to continue what has been a litigation program that we've had in existence since 2018. But we're also going to do voter education. So in that same space where you're going to see a lot of that advertising online just about the election in general in the midterms, we're also going to be asking you, do you know how to register? Do you know where to get an absentee ballot if you need one? Because one of the things that we learned through our litigation work was that a lot of the rules were changing up until the very last minute that people went to vote. And so for us, it's about making sure that we check in with them to see what they know.
So, the Priorities USA actually trained nearly 600 individuals over the 2020 election cycle. How many are you looking to field this cycle?
As many as we can. The fellowship program is a two-part program. There's a fellowship program where you come in-house to work with us. Those are the young folks that come in and we train them and they get to shadow a lot of the folks that are doing our ads. And if you're interested in comms, if you're interested in voter suppression, a lot of young folks would shadow me when I did a lot of our voter suppression work. When you come in through the fellowship program, you have access to all of us because we want to make sure that you all succeed. And if there are organizations or professionals that are working in organizations as operatives, if you're working on a small campaign, we're at priorities.org. Make sure that you look into trying to participate so that you can have access to this knowledge.
All right. Aneesa McMillan, Deputy Director of Priority USA, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Amplified.
Thank you.